Daf Yomi, Tractate Sanhedrin, page 63a, top of the page with the words Amar Rabbi Ami. Zibach v'kiter v'nisach beherem echad, eno chayav el achad. Amar Abaye, my time Rabbi Ami, Amar Kra lo tavdim, akatuv asan, kulan avodah achad. Rabbi Ami says if one sacrificed an animal as an idolatrous offering and burned incense and poured a libation, all in the course of one lapse of awareness, he is obligated to bring only one sin offering. Abaye says, what is the reason for the opinion of Rabbi Ami? The verse states, nor worship them, Exodus 20 verse 5. The verse renders all the various rites of worship as one right. Umi amar Abaye hachi. The Gemara asks, and does Abaye actually say this? And does Abaye actually say this? But doesn't Abaye say, why are there three mentions in the Torah of the prohibition against bowing to an object of idol worship? The prohibition against bowing to an idol appears three times. You shall not bow to them nor worship them. Exodus 20 verse 5. You shall not bow to their gods nor worship them. Exodus 23:24. And for you shall bow to no other god. Exodus 34:14. Achad kedarka ve'achad shelo kedarka ve'achad lechalek. The reason is that one mention is for an idol for which bowing is its standard manner of worship, and one mention is a prohibition against bowing to an idol, even if bowing is not its standard manner of worship. And one mention is to divide idol worship into categories, as one is obligated to bring an offering for every type of worship that he performed. Evidently, Abaye's opinion is not in accordance with Rabbi Ami's statement that one is obligated to bring one sin offering for all of his acts of idol worship. The Gemara answers, Abaye stated his reason in accordance with the statement of Rabbi Ami, but he himself does not hold accordingly. Gufa amar Abaye shalosh yitachavois b'avodah zarah lama achas kedalka ve'achas shelo kedalka ve'achas lechalek. The Gemara discusses the matter itself that Abaye says, why are there three mentions of the prohibition against bowing to an object of idol worship? One is for the act, one is for an idol for which bowing is its standard manner of worship, and one is a prohibition against bowing to an idol even if bowing is not its standard manner of worship, and one mention is to divide idol worship into categories. The Gemara asks, why is a verse necessary for the prohibition against bowing to an idol, for which bowing is its standard manner of worship? The prohibition is already derived from the verse, take heed to yourself that you not be ensnared to follow them, saying, how do these nations serve their gods? So I will do likewise. Deuteronomy 12:30, which indicates that one is liable for worshiping an idol in the manner that the Gentiles worship it. Rather, Abaye's statement should be understood as follows. One mention of the prohibition is for an idol for which its typical manner of worship is similar to bowing, in that the idol is worshipped in an honorable manner. But bowing is not its typical manner of worship, as it is not typically worshipped by bowing. And one mention is a prohibition against bowing to an idol even if it is not similar to its standard manner of worship at all. And one mention is to divide idol worship into categories. המקבל אליו באלוה, האומר לו אלי אתה, אמר רב נחמן, אמר רב בר אבו, אמר רב, כיוון שאמר לו אלי אתה חייב. The Mishnah includes, among those liable for idol worship, one who declares that he accepts an idol upon himself as a god, and one who says to an idol, "You are my god." Rav Nachman says that Rabbi Bar Avu says that Rav says, once a person said to an idol, "You are my god," he is liable even if he did not worship it. Lemai I lekatala masnisani ela lekolban. The Gemara asks, the transgressor is liable to receive what punishment? If he is liable to receive the death penalty, Rav's statement is superfluous, as this is stated in the Mishnah. Rather, Rav means that one who does so unwittingly is obligated to bring an offering. ואפילו לרבנן והתניא אינו חייב, אלא דבר שיש במעשה כגון זיבוח וקיטור וניסוך והשתחוו. ויאמר יש לו גשמן תנא השתחוו. ורבי עקיבא היא דאמר לא באינן מעשה בכלל דרבנן סברי באינן מעשה. The Gemara asks, and is this statement true, even according to the opinion of the rabbis? But isn't it taught in a Braita one is obligated to bring a sin offering for unwitting idol worship only for a matter, a transgression that involves an action, for example, sacrificing an offering, or burning incense, or pouring a libation, or bowing? And Reish Lakish says, who is the Tana who taught bowing among these examples? It is Rabbi Akiva who says that we do not require a significant action in order to render one liable to bring a sin offering. A minimal action is sufficient. By inference, the rabbis who disagree with Rabbi Akiva maintain that we require a significant action. If bowing is not considered a significant action, then all the more so speech alone is not considered a significant action. Kik Rav Dami Rabbi Akiva Komar. The Gemara answers Rav too when he states that one who says to an idol, "You're my God," is obligated to bring a sin offering. He states this according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva Pshita Hainu Megadev. The Gemara asks, if Rav states this according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, isn't it obvious that the transgressor is obligated to bring a sin offering? This is identical to the halacha of a blasphemer, whom Rabbi Akiva obligates to bring an offering despite the lack of an action. Mahu detema ad kan lo machayev Rabbi Akiva korban ela begadev tiktiv bekaret aval hoche delo ketiv bekaret emala. The Gemara answers, Rav states this lest you say that Rabbi Akiva obligates one to bring an offering for a transgression that does not involve an action only in the case of a blasphemer, as it is written explicitly with regard to a blasphemer that he receives karet in the verse he blasphemes the Lord, and that soul shall be excised from among his people. Numbers 15:30. But here with regard to one who accepts an idol as his god, where karet is not written explicitly, one might say that he is not obligated to bring an offering. Kamash malon dikoshi itakush dichtiv ishtachavu lo yizdachu lo v'yomu. The Gomer. Therefore, Rav teaches us that he is obligated to bring an offering, as the Torah compares the acceptance of an idol as a god to a case of active idol worship. As it is written, they have made themselves a molten calf, and they have bowed to it, and have sacrificed to it, and said, "These are your gods, Israel, which brought you up out of the land of Egypt." Exodus 32 verse 8. Amar Rabbi Yochanan ilmai vav shebe he'eloch nitchayvu soneihem she'yizchol kaliyah. With regard to the aforementioned verse, Rabbi Yochanan says, were it not for the vav in the term which brought you up, giving it in a plural form, the haters of the Jewish people, meaning it's a euphemism to refer to the Jewish people themselves, would have been sentenced to destruction for their idol worship. Since they recognized that God had taken them out of Egypt and thought that he had merely made the golden calf his partner, the Jewish people were spared. The Gemara continues, Rabbi Yochanan's opinion is like one side of the following dispute between Tanaim. Others say, were it not for the vav in the term which brought you up, the haters of the Jewish people would have been sentenced to destruction. Amar lo Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai v'alo kol mishtatef shem shamayim v'davar acher ne'ekar min ha'olam shene'emar bilti l'Hashem levado elma tamud lomar asher helucha she'iyuv Elohot harbe. Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai said to him, but isn't anyone who links the name of heaven and something else, a euphemism for an idol, uprooted from the world? As it is stated, he who sacrifices to the gods, save to the Lord only, shall be utterly destroyed, Exodus 22:19. The fact that the Jewish people included God in their idolatrous statement could not have saved them from destruction. Rather, what is the meaning when the verse states, which brought you up, in the plural? The verse teaches that the Jewish people desired many gods. They were not satisfied with the golden calf alone. Aval hamegapeh v'menashek hamechaber al marbetz ki yasar dimi amar Rabbi Elazar al kulam loke chutz mi'anodar bishmo v'amekayem bishmo. The Mishnah teaches, but with regard to one who hugs an idol, or one who kisses it, or one who cleans it, or one who sprays water before it, he transgresses the prohibition but is not liable to receive the capital punishment. When Rav Dimi came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he said that Rabbi Elazar says, for all of these actions one is flogged, with the exception of the cases stated later in the Mishnah of one who vows in an idol's name and one who affirms a statement by an oath in its name. If ain't liken Allah. The Gemara asks, what is different about these cases? One who vows in an idol's name, one who affirms a statement by an oath in his name, that the transgressors are not flogged. It is because they are each an example of a prohibition that does not involve an action. These actions too, namely hugging or kissing an idol and the like, are not punishable by lashes. One who performs them violates a general prohibition, and one is not flogged for violating a general prohibition, meaning one that contains several prohibitions. Titanya minayin ochel ben behema. Koyim shetesei nafsha shul velo taseh tamalom lo tochlu al hadam. As this principle is taught in a brayta, from where is it derived that one who eats from an animal before it's sold to parts is a transgression of a prohibition? The verse states, "You shall not eat with the blood," Leviticus 19:26, meaning you shall not eat from the animal while its soul, which is referred to in the Torah as blood, is still within it. The Brayta adds, another matter is derived from the verse, "You shall not eat with the blood." You shall not eat the meat of an offering while its blood is still in the bowl, as it has not yet been sprinkled on the altar. The meat of an offering may not be eaten by the priests only after its blood is sprinkled. Rabbi Dosa Omer minayin she'im ma'avrin al harugim beit din Talmud lomar u'tochlu al adam. The Braita continues. Rabbi Dosa says, from where is it derived that although, in general, after a deceased person is buried, the mourners are provided by others with a meal, others do not provide the mourners with a meal after the burial of those executed by the court. The verse states, you shall not eat with the blood, which is interpreted to mean you shall not eat a mourner's meal after the burial of one who was executed. Rabbi Akiva Omer, minayin le Sanhedrin, sheholgu es hanefesh, she'en to'amin, klum kol oto hayom. Talmud lomar lo tochlu al hadam. Rabbi Akiva says, from where is it derived with regard to a Sanhedrin that killed a soul? In other words, it sentenced a person to death, that the judges may not taste anything that entire day that they sentenced to him. The verse states, you shall not eat with the blood. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Azara ben Sorer umore minayin, Talmud lomar lo tochlu adam. Rabbi Yochanan says, from where is the prohibition against the behavior of a stubborn, rebellious son derived? While the Torah states the punishment given to a stubborn and rebellious son, the prohibition against his actions, namely stealing money from his parents in order to eat a gluttonous meal of meat and wine in the company of lowly men, is not explicit. The verse states, you shall not eat with the blood, which is interpreted to mean that one may not eat in a manner that is punishable by death. This concludes the Braita. Rabbi Avin bar Kahana al klum eno loke meshum dehavile lav shebich lalos. And Rabbi Avin bar Chia says, some say it is Rabbi Avin bar Kahana who says this, for all the prohibitions that the sages derive from this verse, one is not flogged for transgressing them, as it is a general prohibition that is referring to several different actions. Therefore, since the prohibition against hugging or kissing an idol is also derived from a general prohibition, it should not be punishable by lashes, contrary to the opinion of Rav Dimi. Ela ki aseravin amar Rabbi Elazar al kulan in Eloike chutz min hanoider bishmo v'mitkayem bishmo. Rather, when Ravin came from Eretz Yisrael to Babylonia, he related a different version of Rabbi Elazar says, for all of the transgressions listed in the Mishnah, one is not flogged, with the exception of one who vows in an idol's name and one who affirms the statement by an oath in its name. Ma'ishna ahanach delo ki dahavelei lav shebichlalois. The Gemara asks, what is different about transgressing those prohibitions for which one is not flogged? It is that they are each an example of a general prohibition, as explained previously. These cases too, namely, one who vows or takes an oath in the name of an idol, are included in a prohibition that does not involve an action, and therefore the transgressors are not punishable by lashes. The Gemara answers that the halacha of Rabbi Eliezer's is in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, who says, with regard to a prohibition that does not involve an action, that one is flogged for violating it. Titania lo totiru mimenu ad boker. Ba katuv liten aseh achar lo taseh. as it is taught in a Braita, with regard to the Paschal offering. The verse states, "And you shall not leave any of it until morning, but that which remains of it until morning you shall burn with fire." Exodus 12:10. The verse comes to provide a positive mitzvah to burn the leftover meat after the prohibition against leaving it over was violated.